2 episodes. And if you know, they're like 52 minutes apart. So I want to go home. I want to get in my bed right now. And I'm a shower person, y'all. I can shower almost 2 times a day. Like, what's up, y'all? It's Jaylis here, and I'm back with another video. If you're new here, we talk about experiences, passions, financial growth, personal growth, entrepreneurship, and more, and all types of stuff. And if you're not new here, you already know we gonna get into some things, so let's go. Today's video is a story time, y'all. This is the story time of when I went into labor, okay? When I had that baby, when I had to push that baby out, when I had everything, okay? Baby, it was a time, okay? It was a time. Y'all, so we're just gonna get right into it, period. We're just gonna get right into it because that was a crazy time for me. For sure, it was a crazy time. So, y'all, my son was born November 11th of 2023. And let me just say this. November 10th, okay? First of all, nothing was completely put together yet. Nothing was really completely ready. Now, one thing that was done was the baby's clothes being washed. Because as I was getting clothes and separating them in their size and stuff, the stuff that I knew I was going to need right away was washing. Honestly, I was washing everything. It's just so that way I could put it in a bin and it was already done. I was a real nested mom, okay? Like, I was annoyed when stuff wasn't getting done. I was annoyed if something wasn't done fast enough. And I was annoyed when, like, I felt like certain things need to be clean, certain things need to be put up, certain things need to be put together. Like, I just was one of those moms, washing clothes all the time, reorganizing all the time. Oh, this looks better here, this looks better here. I was a real nested mom. So November 10th comes around and I'm at my mom's house, and I literally was on the phone with my best friend all day. We was talking and stuff, and I was cool all day, y'all. I was literally cool all day. Now, I was like, prior to my baby shower, especially after my first baby shower, kind of just definitely doing all pre-labor prep. I was on my ball, I was drinking my tea, I was doing all of that. So I was like kind of stretching my pelvic because I had been in the hospital a month prior. Like around October 14th, around that time, I was back and forth in the hospital for about a week. So due to like some pelvic bone issues. So that was a whole thing. And November 10th comes around, and that whole day I was good. I was fine. I was talking to my best friend. And like, I like randomly was like, okay, like I just want to get in the shower, whatever the case may be. And I was kind of like getting sleepy, but it wasn't like nothing like I like really was concerned about. Like, it was just like, okay, cool, like I just want to take a shower. Like, and I'm a shower person, y'all. I can shower almost 2 times a day, like 2-3 times a day if I really needed to. But I definitely pretty much take a shower every day. Like, even if I didn't do nothing, I'm gonna take a shower. Like, I don't know, like a shower just is for me. Like, I love a good shower. Like, I love a good shower. So I took a shower, and I was having like, it was probably around, I want to say 4, 5 o'clock at this point. My mom and them weren't home. I forget, I was here, that we were all here, and then they left. My mom, her friend, like they all left and were doing something, and I was in the house doing something. So I was kind of here, and I wasn't really feeling the best. So I was like, it kind of just felt like pregnancy. Like, it did, like it just felt like pregnancy. Like, it didn't feel like something was wrong. It just felt like pregnancy. Sometimes your stomach hurts, sometimes it don't, you know. And like, I had kind of was like getting this light cramping. Like, it wasn't like contractions. It was contractions, but it didn't feel like that. And that was the funniest thing, because back and forth when I was in the hospital, even when I was going to my doctor's appointments, I was having contractions, but I never felt them. Like, even when I was in the hospital, the doctor was like, came in like looking at the machine, like how are you feeling? And I'm like, I'm good. Like, why? And she's like, well, you're having contractions. And I'm like, I don't feel anything. Like, am I supposed to feel something? And she was like, yeah, like you have a whole contraction happening. And I'm like, no, I don't feel anything. Like, so it was like, that was a whole nother thing where like they kind of, after that episode and stuff in the hospital, they kind of were like, we really need you to kind of stick to being home, not driving by yourself and stuff like that, because they were like, you're not feeling your contractions and stuff. You're not feeling when these things are happening, and we don't want you to be out somewhere by yourself and you're giving birth in a car or something because you didn't know or like feel till last minute that this baby is coming. So I'm like, okay. So I back to November 10th, I was getting like this light cramping, and I just didn't feel good, like I just didn't feel good. Like it wasn't like I was like sick or like, oh my god, I just want to lay down, like I just can't do nothing. It was just more like I just didn't feel good, and I was getting a little sleepy. So after me getting a bit sleepy, I was like kind of just laying in my mom's bed, and like I just was like, I just want to lay down for a while. Like I'm talking to my friend, and she's like, are you okay? Like I'm like, yeah, like I took a shower now, like I feel like, like a little bit more relaxed, but like I'm just sleepy, like I kind of just want to lay down. And I'm sitting there talking to her on the phone, like I wasn't going to sleep, but I wanted to lay down. So my mom ends up coming in. Me and my friend ended up getting off the phone by this point. And my mom comes in, and she came upstairs, and she was like, hey, like, what are you doing? And I'm like, I'm just laying down. Like, I don't feel the best, whatever the case may be. And she's like, well, like, like, won't you come get on your ball for a while, drink some of your tea, like, maybe, get your pelvic bone, stretched and stuff like that. Maybe you're just not feeling good because of that. So I'm like, okay, cool. Mind you, she probably ended up coming home around 6:30ish, because I got on a ball around 7. Y'all, I was bouncing on this ball and drinking my raspberry leaf tea or whatever from 7 to 9. Okay, 7 p.m. to 9 p.m. And the only reason that I know that it was this long was because we were watching The Walking Dead, and we had watched 2 episodes. And if you know, they're like 52 minutes apart. So 48 to 52 minutes apart. So I knew that I had been on this ball for a while. Like I was, like doing my stretches, everything, but I was on this ball for a while. So after that, I don't know what it was. I don't know what it was, but I just wanted to go home and get in my bed. So I'm like, all right, mom, like I'm about to leave. I want to go home. I want to get in my bed. Like I'm tired. So she just kept saying like, are you sure? Like you don't want to just stay tonight? Like whatever. And I'm just like, no, like I'm tired. Like I just want to go get in my bed. And I was so adamant, y'all. Like that's one thing I remember. I remember being so adamant about wanting to go home and get in my own bed. Like I just would not let up on it. Like I was just like, no. Like, and she just kept asking like, are you sure you don't want to stay? Are you sure you don't want to stay? And I'm just like, no. Like I want to go home. I want to get in my bed right now. So at this point I go home, and my dad is there, and he's like, he was leaving though, like he was going somewhere, and I was just like, hey, like I don't know, I'm not feeling the best. I'm not saying it's the time, but I'm not saying it's not the time. So just relatively like be around, whatever. He was going out, so he was like, okay, well then I'll be coming back, like I'll be coming back then. Like he was like, I was gonna go somewhere, but then that plan will get canceled. Like I'll just stay close around. My dog was weirdly like right up under me. Like, and don't get me wrong, my dog was like around me my entire pregnancy, but like this day, like he wanted to sleep in my room. Like he just wanted to be like right there. So I end up falling asleep. Okay. I end up falling asleep, but like from my mom's house to my house, like it was all of like a 15-minute drive. Like it wasn't like I was far. So I was like, I ended up falling asleep. Like I knocked out way before my dad even came back, because I didn't even hear him come back. Right. So I'm asleep, and around, I want to say like right before 2, because that's when I first woke up, but let's just say 2 a.m. ish. 2 a.m. I get up because I felt like a cramp, but I felt like, I was like, oh, like, I don't know, maybe I was just uncomfortable. Now, I did not really get comfortable sleep while I was pregnant, so when I say like I just felt like I was just uncomfortable and I needed to switch positions, like that's what I felt. And I was like, oh, like I have to pee. So I get up, y'all. This is the funniest thing. I'm laying down. I sit up to like about to get up to go pee. And then it just went away. Like the feeling of having to pee went completely away. So I'm like, okay, I'm going back to bed. Like I'm going to sleep. Like I'm going back to sleep. I'm tired. Y'all, I go to lay back down. I finally get comfortable. I'm about to knock out again. I feel like I have to pee again. So this time I'm like, all right, let's just get up. Let's just try to go pee real quick and be done with it. I get up. I go to the bathroom. I pee, okay? I literally peed and then water just kept trickling. Like, and it was like, what the hell? And I knew I was done peeing though. Like I knew I was done peeing, but it was like, cause you know, like when you're done peeing, like you can feel yourself being done peeing. Like it's done. And water just kept trickling and kept trickling and kept trickling. And I'm sitting there on the toilet and I'm like, no way my water just broke. No way my water just broke. So now I'm cracking up at 2:00 in the morning, okay? I'm cracking up. Like, because I just couldn't believe that my water broke. Like, I just couldn't. And it's like, mind you, my son was supposed to come November 20th. Okay, that was the date they gave me. If you know, you know. Doctors just be guessing on dates. That doesn't, a date that they give you is not reality of exactly when that baby's gonna come, but it's around about time. So mind you, 2:00 in the morning is now November 11th. Okay, y'all. The funniest thing in the world, I swear to y'all, it was like I was cracking up. Like, even within now, like cramps are coming. Now contractions are coming. But I am full-blown tears cracking up because I could not even fathom that my water just broke. And then reality setting in, like, I really have to have this baby. Like, I don't care what nobody says. You know, like, yeah, you go through pregnancy, you gotta have the baby. When the baby comes out, you're gonna have to take care of it. But when that reality hits, when your water breaks, when it's go time, baby, you really gotta have that kid. You really gotta push that baby out. You really gotta go get that. Like, you have to have this baby now. So finally, the water stops trickling enough where I can get up and like put a towel around me for a second. Like, to not, I don't know. Like, I don't even know what I felt like I was doing. But like, the water stopped long enough for me to like get some stuff, get a pad and like stuff like that. So one, my underwear weren't just getting wet and stuff, because that just wasn't gonna work for me. I go into the other room. I flip the light on. And mind you, I didn't flip the light on to be like, oh my God, but I was like turning the light on. And mind you, I'm cracking up, but I'm calm. And I'm like, when I flipped the light on, my dad instantly woke up. Like, he instantly woke up. He's a light sleeper like me, so, and he barely sleeps, like sleeps as is. So he woke up and like, but he was still tired, and you could tell, because he's like, huh? And I'm like, my water broke. And he was like, huh? And I'm like, my water broke. He was like, go get your stuff. Like, he jumped up. Like, he's like, go get your stuff. Come, are you okay? Like, and I'm like, stop yelling. Calm down. Like, all right, like, just breathe. Like, I gotta call my mom. I gotta, like, get my bag. Like, everybody just breathe a second, okay? Everybody calm down. And I just think in that moment, I wasn't ready to be overwhelmed just yet. So I just was like, calm down. Like, relax. You're yelling. You're screaming. Like, relax yourself, please. So, yeah. After he's like flipping out, and I'm like, calm down, like, relax. We're like getting my stuff. Now I'm calling my mom, okay? This is the funniest thing about me calling my mom. When I left, mind you, I said I was very adamant about wanting to go home. When I left, she was like, girl, don't have this baby at no 2:00 in the morning or nothing. And whatever the case may be. Now, the few weeks prior to all this, I was telling my mom, like, we don't know when the baby's coming, so you need to just have your phone on loud. Like, don't stop turning it on silent and things like that, because like if I call, so I'm calling, she's not answering. I mean, I called her at least 4 or 5 times. She did not answer. I called her friend because she was down here. She lives in another state. She was down here for a while because she's at my mom's. And I'm like calling her. She's not answering. So then I called my sister. Mind you, my sister doesn't even live with my mom. I call my sister and I'm calling her. I ended up having to call her twice. She answers the second time. She's like, hello. And I'm like, hey, like my water broke. I'm just trying to call mommy. And like, she can meet at the hospital. She's not answering. Blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, but like, I'm on my way to the hospital. My sister's like, are you joking? Like, don't be playing right now. And I'm like, no, like I'm dead serious. Like, that's why my lights and stuff are on. Like, I'm getting ready to go. My dad's in the background yelling, get off the phone, we gotta go, we gotta go. And I'm like, stop yelling, calm down. But at this point too, I'm not gonna lie, I was getting annoyed. But I was getting annoyed because like my contractions and like were coming in, and like it feels like cramping to start. So it just, I wasn't feeling good. So it's like him yelling and all, like I was just getting annoyed. So nobody was answering the phone. So I was even more annoyed. So she's like, okay, I'm gonna get her like to go to the hospital. So I'm like, okay. So me and my dad, we get in the car, we're driving to the hospital, and like cramps are coming, but like I'm still okay. Like I'm not like, oh my God, this baby's about to come out right now. So like I'm not like in that mode. So we're talking, and like it was all of like a 5-minute drive to the hospital, 5 to 7 minutes. Like the hospital was down the street. It wasn't like it was far. And he's like, you know, how are you feeling? Like, you know, this is about to be a real thing, blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, I'm good, but these cramps are starting. Like, so I want you to stop talking. Like, it was getting there, but like, it just wasn't that yet. So then we pull up to the hospital. Mind you, they have a hospital, a main hospital entrance. And when I went to my appointments at this hospital. So when they said, oh, like when it's time for you to have this baby, when you water breaks and everything, when you come in, just come through the main entrance, blah, 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 and like we'll get you started from there. So when we pull up, we go to the main entrance of the hospital. The security guard is like not trying to let us in. My dad is flipping out on this man, okay? He's like, well, we're not really allowed to let everybody in. And he was like, sir, like her water is breaking. Like this baby is coming. Like, open the door. Like and the security was like, oh, like what are you here for again? And he flips out. Like he's like, she's having a baby. Like he's flipping on this security guard at this point. So I'm cracking up because on one hand, I'm annoyed because like, let's go. If somebody doesn't make this work now, I'm cussing everybody out. But at the same time, I'm laughing because he's flipping out. Like he's pissed. Like he's pissed. So the security guard finally says, oh, she's having a baby. My dad, you would have thought steam was coming out his ears, the way how mad he looked, okay? So he was like, oh, you have to take her around to the emergency room. You have to come through there. You could have said that 3 minutes ago. Like dead serious, you could have been said that. Why did we need to have this whole conversation with you if that's where we had to go? So we go around to the emergency room. The emergency room, the guy comes out, because my dad hops out the car, like, trying to get something, like, one of the wheelchair things, and the guy was like, what's wrong? He was like, her water broke, she's having this baby. And I think that men, in general, like, in their mind, water break means baby's popping out right there, you know? So, y'all naturally get this, like, let's go, and, like, it's a process, but, like, y'all don't get that. So, like, he just was like, everybody needs to move faster, which shout out to my dad, okay? Like he was trying to, let's go people, like we don't have time to be playing. So the guy comes out and he's like, all right, here's the wheelchair. He's trying to wheel me in. My dad's trying to get my bag out. He goes to park my car. I finally get in. The guy was like, are you okay? The doctors come down. They get me all the way up to like labor and delivery. And then I'm annoyed. I get pissed off, y'all, because I'm really starting to feel like cramps and stuff. And this lady hands me paperwork. She hands me, you know, like the slip that they give you in the doctor's office, you gotta stop. In the midst of my water breaking, me going through pain, And I'm like, I need to do this now? Like, y'all need me to fill this paperwork out right now? Like, I was pissed. And at this point, my mom said she's on her way. My sister must have did the dash, y'all. She must have did the dash. Because, dead serious, she must have got from her house to my mom's house in all of 5 minutes. And from my mom's house all the way back to West Philly in all of 10 minutes. Because they were there. Like, we got to the hospital. And then they got to the hospital within all of 10 minutes of us being there. Like, and I don't even know if 10 minutes was it. So at the time you could only have 2 people in your room, so my sister couldn't stay. Like, she was just like, okay, call me, like, I'm gonna go back in the house, but call me, I'm up, whatever. My mom and my dad were there. And it was like my mom could see, like, I was getting so annoyed. I was getting so annoyed with this paperwork and stuff, because to me it was like, the urgency isn't this paperwork. I can sign this at any time. I can write down these answers at any time. The urgency is this baby that's about to come out of me. So let's go. Like, what are we, I'm not doing this right now. So they finally get me in a room. They get me to change. And she's like, okay, just breathe, put this on. We're going to do a cervical check, blah, blah, blah. So in the midst of all of that, I was like, okay, like, I have to pee. Sure enough, I pee. Mucus blood comes out at this point. So she was like, okay, cool, that's fine. I had to pee in the cup anyway, so, like, it worked out, like, whatever. And then she did a cervical check. Now, I was really big on, I wasn't doing too many cervical checks. I just think it's, like, it's not, first of all, I'm already going through pain, and I don't want you poking in my vagina while I feel pain of pressure going out. I don't want pressure going in. Like, cervical checks don't do anything that you need to just keep doing it. You feel what I'm saying? Like, we can push them, we can separate them. So I was just like, okay, like, she did the first cervical check. So she was like, you're staying. And I was like, okay, like, I mean, I figured, but, like, why are you saying it like that? And she was like, you're 3 centimeters, like, you're staying. You're not going anywhere, you can't leave. Like, and I guess that's because if you're not, like, far along, or, like, your cervix isn't really opening, your water can break. That doesn't mean you're going to have the baby the same day. So it's like, usually if your cervix really isn't opening yet, then naturally they can send you home. But that lady was like, no, you ain't going nowhere, you stay here. So I was laying there for a while. She comes back, I want to say about 30 minutes later or so. And she's like, you know, okay, we're just gonna do like another cervical check, whatever. She says, like, I jumped in dilation really fast. I think I went from like a 3 to like a 5. And she was like, okay, like, from this point, she was like, okay, like, it's gonna be a while, like, you're gonna be laying here for a while, you know, we'll just periodically come check your dilation. At this point now, though, I'm feeling so much pressure. And I really wasn't going to get an epidural. But at this point, I was feeling so much pain. I was like, and like I said, I was already previously in the hospital for, like, pelvic issues. So, like, I really was like, yo, like, this baby feels like he's there. Like, you know, like, this is not, she's like, oh no, like, don't push because it, like, and I'm like, lady, I'm not even pushing. This baby is about to come out of me. Like, it hurts. Like, what are you talking about? So she was like, okay, like, let's see. She was like, well, if you're going to get this epidural, you have to get it now, because you are, like, after a while, they can't give it to you. My mom was like, I know that you don't want it, but you're in so much pain. I think that you should get it, like, whatever the case may be. So they come in, they give me my epidural, right? The first dose they gave me messed up. And when I say messed up, they gave me a lower dosage. So it was not working. So when I tell y'all they did the epidural and I just felt more and more and more and more pain, like, I was snapping. I'm like, what the hell is the point of an epidural? Like, I'm snapping on everybody in there, because I'm like, what is the point of me getting an epidural and putting this medicine in my body if it don't even work? Like, I was pissed. So the doctor comes in and she does a cervical check, and she's like, I'm not understanding why you feel like this much pain. She sees on machines that I'm having these contractions, but she knows also I just got this epidural, so it should be helping at least calm them a little bit. She does a cervical check. I went from like three, I don't know if it was 3 to 5 or 3 to 4 really fast, but I went from like 4 or 5 to like 6, 7 or something like that. And like, she was like, yo, like, you're dilating very quickly. So she was really like, I'm gonna fix. So she gave me on the little thing another dose of like the epidural medicine, because she was like, you're feeling the pain right now of somebody who would be dilated 10 centimeters, but you're only 6 meters. Like, she was so lost on me dilating so fast. So from 6, she's like, okay, like, because your epidural is probably going to slow down now a little bit. Like, you're going to be, like, just lay back down, whatever the case may be. Y'all, I lied to y'all not. Again, this epidural was not working. It was not working. Like, I felt everything. I felt like this baby was about to come out, okay? I was like, yo, like, I'm going to I'm going to spaz out. So she was like, she comes back in, and she calls the anesthesiologist back up, because she's like, this epidural is not working for her, and I've given her 2 doses. He looks on the cart and goes, oh, mind you, he was like, listen, like, I just got on shift. Like, this is not the dosage that I usually put on the cart. I usually put the higher dosage on, because you only need 1 dose of it. This is like, you got to keep giving doses. Well, give me the higher one, because this ain't working. Like, what are we talking about this for? Let's go. Like, so he then gives me the new medicine. So at this point, I'm 3 dosages in of epidural, y'all. I'm 3 dosages in, because the first 2 weren't working. At this point, I feel nothing, okay? Once this 3rd dose goes in, belly button down, couldn't feel a thing. Didn't even know I had legs. Couldn't feel a thing, okay? She does another cervical check right after the anesthesiologist. I went from 6 to 9.5, okay? 6 from 9.5, and all of like, I don't know, like an hour or so, because literally, like, it was just, time was going, and it was just going. Y'all, she's like, okay, I'm gonna go get the doctor. Like, we're gonna get you start setting up, because it's time to, like, it's almost time to go. Like, you're really moving in this. Cool, no problem, let's do it. This nurse comes in, and she's like rude, and because she wasn't understanding that I couldn't feel anything, so she's like, oh, like, move your leg this way, and I'm like, ma'am, I can't even feel my leg. Like, and my mom got even more annoyed, because she's like, yo, like, stop, like, you. So my mom kicked her out. Like, my mom was like, she can't be in here, get another nurse. Like, because she was just like, just move this way, just do that. And I'm like, I can't feel my legs. Like, I don't feel them. Like, I don't even know that they're here. So they get my legs up on the thing, and I'm laying back, and like, everybody starts screaming. My mom, my aunt, at this point, my aunt had came, my aunt, the doctors, they're like, we gotta go. And I'm like, why are y'all screaming? Like, at this point, I have a headache. I'm like, why are y'all screaming? We see his head, da da da. And I'm like, okay, like, then let's go. Like, why are we screaming though? Like, calm down. Like, so the lady's like, all right, we're gonna push. And I'm like, so then I'm like, well, you gonna tell me what I need to do? Like, I never did this before. Like, you gonna tell me like what the process is here? Like, and it's just so funny, because I feel like sometimes when you get in those situations, like, doctors really assume that like you just gonna be okay, let's go. Like, no, I ain't never pushed out no baby. Like, tell me what to do. Like, so she's just like, okay, I'm gonna count, and you're gonna breathe on my counts, and then you're gonna stop, you're gonna breathe, I'm like, okay, cool, like, good, let's get it going. First of all, I can't even feel myself pushing, because like I said, I can't feel anything. So I'm pushing. Mind you, I'm not feeling this. Like, I'm not feeling this baby come out. And his head comes out, and literally once his head came out, he literally plopped out. Like, it wasn't even like I had to push the rest of him out. Like, literally, I got his head out, and he just said, boop, like, the rest of his body just slid out. So that was funny. My mom cut the umbilical cord. Then I had a tear. Didn't even know. Okay, didn't even know that I had a tear. And They stitched me up and everything. Didn't feel any of this. Didn't feel any of this. And my son came at 9:58 a.m. Like I said, I woke up at 2, okay? I woke up at 2 a.m. Got to the hospital probably by 2:30, 2:45. He was here at 9:58 a.m. on the dot. He was ready to go. He was ready to go. And, you know, they do all your after baby stuff. You know, they cleaned him up. They did all that. It was great. I'm going to put a picture in right here of, you know, when he was first born and things like that. It was insanity, y'all. It was crazy. It was so funny. And then from there, after giving him his like first bottle and stuff and getting cleaned up, all of that, they take him for a minute to do like some testing, and I got a minute, like nobody was in the room. I got a minute to just breathe and like process, like I'm a mom now, like it's real. And then they moved me into my room. They moved me into a room, and I was so tired, but I wanted Chipotle so bad. I was so hungry. And I went in a room, and the baby was there, my mom was there, my aunt was there, my dad was coming back. He was on his way back. He had left for a minute. But it was crazy. It was a lot that happened. Like, then it was just like, it was crazy. It was so crazy. Like, I can remember that day like the back of my hand. It was one of the best days of my life. Like, it was, although it was like painful in the beginning, like it was one of the best days of my life. And yeah, it was just on from there. Like, but yeah, me going into labor had to be the funniest thing in the world to me. Like, I just could not believe that my water broke. Like, I just was just like, no way. There's no way my water just broke. Like, it's just, we're not even, like, I'm not joking. Like, there's no way. And other than that, it was just that. So, yep, I hope that y'all get a Kiki too, because, baby, I was rolling in tears. Like, it was so funny. And, like, I really look back and, like, I was really annoyed because everybody was just, like, too much. Like, calm down. Everybody calm down. But I'm naturally real nonchalant, real cool, real chill. So, like, everybody else screaming and hollering and rah, rah, rah. Like, it was just like, yo, like, relax. Like, calm down. But yeah, that was just, you know, that's the story time of me going into labor and everything, and maybe help give some insight on, you know, if you have to go into labor, or, you know, men, if you're you know, mother of your child goes into labor, how you're better off being calming to her than to be, you know, exaggerant. But yeah, absolutely. I hope you guys enjoyed the video. Like, comment, subscribe. Like I said, we're trying to get to 1,000 subscribers, so let's keep building. Let's keep building. And there's so many videos coming up. I can't wait to, you know, put them out and, you know, talk to y'all, communicate with y'all, do all those great things. So I will see y'all in another video.